episode 373. I will be recapping tonight's episode of WWE Friday Night Smackdown and be talking about a little bit of news going on in the world of pro wrestling right here, right now. 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to an episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Once again, happy St. Patrick's Day again, everyone. And I just want to start off by saying tonight, here on this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, just a quick, I guess you could say, programming note. Right now on this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 273, I will only be recapping SmackDown since Rampage is late tonight. But I will be talking about Rampage tomorrow morning on the Saturday episode of GMWF, so stay tuned for that. I talked about it this morning, and hopefully Rampage will start on time, which is scheduled to start at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time, but the college basketball game is on, and you never know with live sports, sometimes the game can go long. But I'm hoping we'll start right at 11:30, go to 12:30, and then tomorrow morning on GMWF I'll talk about the episode. But it's Friday night still St. Patrick's Day. And let's talk about WWE Friday Night Smackdown. And we start things off with the 2023 Royal Rumble winner, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, in the ring. And he tries to patch things up with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, just like Sammy Davis Jr. did with Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis back in the day. And right now, though, Kevin Owens still wants nothing to do with it, though. And Zayn says again where they don't have to be friends, they just have to work together to take out the bloodline. And then they talk again in the parking lot. Owens leaves, and we have a mixed tag team match. Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley representing the Judgment Day. They defeat Santos Escobar and Zelina Vega. Not a bad match at all here. Ripley pins Vega to get the win for Judgment Day. And post-match, Dominic gets on the mic, and then we see on the Titantron Rey Mysterio in the back, and then he comes out to the arena, and Dominic once again trying to get him to take the match. But Rey gets on the mic, and for a second, it actually kind of looks like he might accept the match for WrestleMania, but once again, he says he will not face his own son at WrestleMania and turns Dominic down again. So if WWE is going to make this match, they have to hurry up, or at least you would think so, because WrestleMania is only 2 weeks from this weekend. I mean, it could still happen, but I would think they would have already made the match official by now. And this is not all we would see of Rey Mysterio tonight. And women's tag team action to qualify for the women's 4-way tag team match, I believe, at WrestleMania. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defeat Emma and Tegan Nox. And then we see the SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair in the ring, and she is interrupted by Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley, along with Dominic Mysterio. They go back and forth. Dominic distracts Charlotte. Rhea gets the cheap shot. And then that turns into a brawl with security and agents coming out to break it up. Xavier Woods defeated LA Knight with a small package. And then we see in the back, LA Knight gets in the face of Rey Mysterio, he says something about he's going to be a deadbeat dad too, and then Rey Mysterio decks him, just lets him have it. Punch right to the face of LA Knight. And now it is main event time on SmackDown. Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus, and the winner gets an Intercontinental Championship match against Gunther at WrestleMania 39. And Imperium makes their way to ringside, and Gunther is on commentary, and it's a pretty good match. And just as I expected, there is not a clean finish. Imperium interferes, attacking both superstars, and Imperium is leaving to go backstage, and then Adam Pearce appears on the Titantron, and he makes it official. At WrestleMania 39, it will be a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther defending against both Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. I'm sure that's what everybody expected to happen even last week when they made the rematch between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre for tonight. It was a little predictable that they would still end up getting to a triple threat match for Mania. And now it is official. And then the final segment of Friday Night Smackdown this week is the confrontation between Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. And it ends up 2-on-1, the Usos with a beatdown on Sami Zayn. But then we hear the music of KO, Kevin Owens, which the Usos face their entrance, waiting for him. But then we see Owens make his way through the crowd, and he makes the save for Sami Zayn. And then we see in the middle of the ring what I'm sure most people have been waiting for. And that is the big hug, finally, between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It's not official yet, but it looks like we could see that match that has been talked about for a while now. The Usos taking on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 39. Like I said, it has not yet been made official just yet, but it does look like that match will be taking place at WrestleMania. So that was tonight's March 17th episode of SmackDown. Not a bad show, I thought. I'm going to say it was a real amazing show, but definitely not a bad show either. I'd say good. Anyway, and once again tonight, hopefully 11:30, will start on time. AEW Rampage St. Patrick's Day Slam tonight on TNT. And I will talk about that episode of Rampage tomorrow morning on Good Morning Wrestling Fans. So tune in right here on Spreaker or wherever you may listen. Which reminds me, just real quick, I've noticed sometimes, like, on the YouTube version of the podcast, if you have the captions on, it says speaker. It doesn't actually say Spreaker. In case you can't tell, Spreaker is spelled Spreaker. But I noticed on the captions a lot of time it just says speaker instead of Spreaker. So probably just can't tell the difference, or whether it's probably just automated or something. Just wanted to say that real quick. And in some news, we have, this came out yesterday, I forgot to mention it on the podcast actually, and that is Stu Grayson. His appearance on Dynamite this week apparently was just not a one-time thing, and Tony Khan posted the usual picture that Stu Grayson is all elite again. He is back with the company again, so I know it's only one member back, but hopefully this will help the Dark Order. Now Stu Grayson back in the mix with Evil Uno, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds, and Hangman Page, even though I don't know if you really can call him an official member of the Dark Order or not, but hopefully almost back to full strength of the Dark Order. I have been a fan of the Dark Order for almost the beginning. I don't know if I would say the very beginning when it first started, but definitely when Mr. Brody Lee became the leader, that was definitely when Dark Order was at its best. Hopefully can maybe get back close to that. Also, it was announced Wednesday on WWE's The Bump by WWE Hall of Famer, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, that the second inductee into the 2023 WWE Hall of Fame class is the Great Muta, which I wouldn't say surprised, but I'm not really surprised who they put in anymore, but it is an interesting one since Muta has never competed for WWE, but obviously in the United States, WCW, TNA, other indies, and definitely a big part of pro wrestling history. I don't know if he'll show up with the face paint or not for the induction, but will be interesting to see if he does or not. Also, Ricky Reyes has announced his retirement from pro wrestling. Very good worker. I thought I have seen quite a bit of his stuff in the indies. Definitely not very good worker, like I said, but unfortunately never really got the spotlight, national attention as much as he deserved. Very good pro wrestler, but is retiring. Had a very good career though. And a big match has been announced for next week's AEW Dynamite, and it is Kenny Omega taking on El Hijo del Vikingo in Missouri. That'll definitely be a match you don't want to miss. And also last night, I don't think I mentioned this when I was recapping Impact Wrestling, but it was announced that March 30th, right before the Impact and New Japan Pro Wrestling show, the Multiverse United will actually be a live edition of Impact Wrestling on Access TV. But what I'm guessing is it's not an actual live show with matches or anything. They're going to be in studio, and it's pretty much going to be a pre-show for the Multiverse United. Going to be going over the show and stuff. Or at least that's what it sounded like to me anyway, as they explained it last night on Impact. Definitely looking forward to that show. Both Impact, New Japan have been very good lately. The day before Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor, or Supercard of Honor, my mistake, sorry about that. And then of course there's some event going on that weekend, WrestleMania. You may have heard of that. So that's all for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 373. Thank you everyone for listening right here on Spreaker or wherever you are listening. Remember, I will be talking about AEW Rampage St. Patrick's Day Slam tomorrow morning. Good morning, wrestling fans. So, 360 Wrestling Podcast at gmail.com. As always, if you have any questions, suggestions, anything, Instagram 360 Wrestling Podcast, Twitter at 360 Wrestling Pod, also on Facebook 360 Wrestling Podcast. And until next time, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.